All right, number 19. For the given ellipses, so that's a nice clue. Find the center, coordinates of the vertices, and coordinates of the foci. Don't forget, this little formula is going to be our friend at some point, in all likelihood. So the first thing we got to understand is that this has to equal 1. And so we're going to divide everything by 144. So that reduces 2. And I'm doing part A first. 1 over 16, so it's just x squared over 16 plus y squared over 9 equals 1. Now, as you can see, our center is going to be 0, 0. No shift, no shift. This is square root, which means go 4 in the x direction. And we can see that's our major axis. And so there's the coordinates of the vertices. So I'm just going to put v plus or minus 4, 0. Get a bit of pencil here. But now, take the square root of 9, that's 3. That's how far we travel up and down the y-axis. These are actually considered the co-vertices. I'm going to draw those in. Perfectly, no, but you get the idea. And it says the coordinates of the foci. Now remember, the foci always, always, always are on the major axis, which is the longer one. In this case, it's the x. So a squared, using this formula here, is 16 minus b squared, which is 9, is 7. So 7 equals c squared. So bada boom, bada bing, do the right thing, which kind of tells us, remember, the square root of 9 is 3, so it's a little less than 3. So it'd be right in here and right in here. But the foci are going to be plus or minus the square root of 7, 0. Temptation might be to write this, but that has to be wrong because that would put us on the y-axis. So, there we go. All right, let's tackle letter B. A little more work here. So we've got, I'm going to gather my x's, so 12x squared minus 24x. I'm going to gather my y's, plus 5y squared plus 30y, and I'm going to go ahead and add that 3 over to the other side, equals 3. Now we got work to do. Now remember, this needs to be a 1, but if I divide by 3 right now, it's going to mess everything up. There's going to be no nice tidy numbers, so that can't be my option. But what I'm going to do, because I know I need to complete the square, is factor a 12 out of here, so x squared minus 2x plus space. Factor a 5 out of here, y squared plus 6y plus space equals 3, and I'm going to put plus space, because I'm running out of space. Take half of negative 2, it's negative 1, square it. That's a 1. Now, what do? We added 12 to this side, so we got to add 12 to that side. Take half of 6 is 3, square it. That's 9. 9 times 5 is 45. Because I added 45 on this side, I got to add 45 on that side. Now we're going to clean this up. For those of you that aren't good at factoring perfect square trinomials, that's your big clue. It's going to factor into x minus 1 squared with a 12 in front of it, plus 5. This factors into that number. Y plus 3 squared equals, now this is 57 right here, plus 3 is 60. Now we got to think, hey, that needs to be a 1. So divide by 60, divide by 60, divide by 60. Now this reduces to 1/5, which is convenient. And this reduces to 1/12. And that equals 1. And now we are off to the races. So on this one, finding the center is different. This needs to go right 1, this needs to go down 3. 1, and then down 3. Now, if it helps you, go ahead and think of your x and y axis as just shifting right 1, down 3. And there's my new center. So my center is 1, negative 3. And on number A, I didn't really point it out, but the center was kind of obvious, 0, 0, so forgot to mention that. Back to this one. And here we go. Now it's going to get a little technical here, because you can see these are not perfect square roots, but the rules are the same. Obviously this is bigger than this, so a squared is 12. And let me pause this for just a second. So now we got to take a look at a squared is 12 and take the square root of that. Now, a lot of confusion as to whether or not to convert this to decimals or not. Because we're graphing, it's not a terrible idea to do that, but our pre-calc book didn't. So that turns into 2 square root of 3, and just give me 2 seconds here. And I'm going to go the square root of 3, and I'm going to multiply that by 2, and I get approximately, we're going to go 3.46, which is like 3.5, just to get an accurate drawing here. So we need to travel along the y-axis that far. Now, here's the thing. This is my major axis because this is bigger than this. So this is my center, which is 1, -3. It's very likely that they will just say, so we go up 3.5, so 3.5 from there, ish, there's a little bit of an ish there, would be right about there. But how would we label it? Well, that would be 1, and then I'd add 3.5 from there, or 2 square root of 3, so maybe I'd go -3 plus 2 square root of 3. That might be a way to write it. Another way to write it would be just simply 1, and then we've kind of rough estimated that'd be a 0.5. Either way is fine. But now I need to go down that far. So now I need to go down 3.5. So 1, 2, 3. That's why this is kind of helpful. So it's right there. But how do we say it? How do we call that point a coordinate? Well, one way is just to go 1, -3 minus 2 square root of 3. But we know what it is. It's approximately down 3.5 from -3, so that'd be -6.5. So there it is. Okay, so we got the center, we got the vertices, now we got to find the foci. Now, we don't know what this drawing looks like exactly. They're not asking us to draw it perfectly. We could find it by going square root of 5, which is a little over 2. So it'd be like 1, 2, and a little bit more, and then 1, 2, and a little bit more. See, my drawing's bad, but they're not asking us to graph it. They're saying, hey, find the foci. What do we know? We know it's got to be on the major axis, so it's got to be somewhere here. Well, we have to find the letter C. Whoops, I'm off the page a little bit. So we got to find the letter C. And that's why this, a squared minus b squared equals c squared is your BFF. So a squared is 12, it's this. B squared is 5. So we get 7 is c squared. So bada boom, bada bing, do the right thing. Don't forget, we're adjusting from the center up and from the center down. So in this case, it's up and down from here. So the foci, I'm going to list as 1, -3, plus or minus the square root of 7. And there you have it. All right, that was number 19. If you liked the video, like and subscribe. Thanks, guys.